Live. News 8 at 6 starts now.
Town workers and residents working side by side to tackle this cleanup. We'll have that story straight ahead.
Students at UConn trying to get to class this morning stuck after they say the parking lots weren't cleared in time. We're live with more on what they had to say.
You can obey the parking ban and still get towed. I'm Chief Capital Correspondent Mark Davis in Hartford. I'll have that story coming up.
Cleanup all across the state as we dig out from Blizzard 2015, but we are not in the clear just yet because there is more snow on the way. Good evening. I'm Keith Kuntz.
I'm Ann Nyberg. We have another storm, as Keith just said, headed our way on Friday as we take a live look at Hartford. Meteorologist Kyla Grogan has a first look at that forecast. So what about this next round of snow, Kyla?
Yeah, so this one isn't going to be as high impact as the last one. So that's some good news, everybody. So we'll talk you through it. But right now, let's talk about how it was today, because these were the highs today. Look at New Haven, 29 degrees, 29 in Bridgeport. Windsor Locks up at 28 degrees. It was beautiful today. It was chilly, but this is what it looked like in Hartford this afternoon. Just glorious sunshine coming on in. I had to say hello, sunshine there. Right now, we're pulling back from those highs, about 26 degrees in Hartford, but we still have the clear skies with us throughout the night. Now, believe it or not, that's one of the things that helps us to stay pretty cold, because when you don't have those clouds, you're not really keeping any heat from the earth from escaping. It escapes very quickly. So our temperatures around the state right now, you can see 22 in Lebanon, about 25 in South Windsor, 21 in Canton, and Oakville coming in at about 20 degrees, 30 degrees down in Devon right now. So they've actually topped out there at 30. That one's a little warm. Wind speeds not so bad. We do have a little wind kind of running from the coast right up through the central part of the state, through the Central Valley. But look at New London, where they've had incredible wind the last 24 to 48 hours, 7-mile-per-hour winds. That makes a big difference for them. Taking a look at the radar, and there's nothing really to look at, as we don't even have any clouds, not a blip on the radar. That's kind of nice. And we zoom out, and you can see that is our blizzard storm that is now tracked on up past Maine, heading into the Canadian Maritimes. But this is the next clipper that's going to roll across the Great Lakes and come our way. Now, the timing for that one is going to be Thursday night into Friday morning. So we've got cold and colder temperatures coming our way. A little bit of snow coming, possibly maybe an inch or two. And then we're looking out for Sunday night into Monday. That one we're going to keep an eye on for potential accumulation. I'll have more about that coming up in your full forecast.
All right, thanks so much. Things are slowly getting back to normal at Bradley International. The airport closed on Monday and reopened last evening. A few flights were able to get wheels off the ground this morning. Over the last 2 days, thousands of flights were canceled across the Northeast. With more snow in the forecast the next coming days, be sure to download the Weather Edge app on your phone and take Storm Team 8 with you when you go. Keith.
And thank you. It was back to work in school for a lot of people today, and parking in UConn was somewhat of a nightmare. Classes were scheduled to begin at 10 o'clock this morning, but at 9 a.m. students say the lots still had not been plowed and the sidewalks were still covered with snow. In Hartford, dozens of cars were towed out of school lots after a reverse parking ban was put into effect. The school district canceled class today because officials needed to get those lots cleared. We have team coverage for you tonight. Josh Scheinblum is live with the very latest on the parking problems at UConn, and Chief Capital Correspondent Mark Davis has more on that reverse parking ban in Hartford. But we begin with Josh, who is live in stores. Josh.
Keith, students at UConn have been reaching out to our newsroom all day long. They have a long list of complaints to how they say the University of Connecticut didn't respond properly to the blizzard of 2015, so we brought those concerns to school officials.
There's a blanket of white covering the UConn campus, a consequence of Blizzard 2015. And all day there's been crews working to clean it all up. But still, some students are insisting more needs to be done. Several students tell News 8 there's simply too much snow on the sidewalks, creating a situation that they feel is nothing short of dangerous. Another complaint, the mess that is on the ground isn't being cleaned up fast enough.
So we're all, kind of in this together. So the roads are fine, the conditions are good, and we're doing our best to make sure everybody's accommodated.
Stephanie Reitz is a spokesperson for the university. She says the school is working hard to improve the situation.
We've had a lot of crews out, but it's an unusual storm. We've cleared places multiple times and then had drifts go back onto the same places.
But for students who have a car on campus, the issues don't end there. On Monday, an email went out telling them to move their cars to the school's garages. The only problem with that, several drivers told us, was that after the storm, when school officials wanted them moved, conditions inside, in their estimation, weren't safe, and there weren't enough options of places to move their vehicles.
There's still snow in here. Is like, how do you expect the parking lots to be?
But Stephanie says students have had enough time to make arrangements to get their cars out.
We've been emailing with them, we've been sending them text messaging saying, please have your car out by 8 a.m. on Wednesday. And that gave them enough time to plan, and by 8 a.m. there was not any kind of question as to getting them out. The garages were open.
Staff members at the University of Connecticut are asking students who are still looking for a place to park their car to get in touch with staff members at their dorm. For now, we are live in stores. Josh Scheimblum, News 8.
Josh, thank you. Hartford residents will have to pay a hefty fine to get their cars back after they were towed. Chief Capitol correspondent Mark Davis has that story.
The Hartford residents that own these cars being towed from the Noah Webster School parking lot were all obeying the city parking ban.
When bad weather is coming, myself and all my roommates just check online and see when the ban goes into effect, and then we get to our local public school parking lot as quickly as we can.
But the rules of the parking ban say that you must remove your car from the school lots by 12 hours after the ban is lifted, so the school lots can be plowed and schools reopened. The ban was lifted at 8 p.m. Tuesday night.
We didn't know that, so and our street's still not clear for parking.
For Kayla and Christian, it was a double whammy. Both of their cars were towed at $93.59 each, plus a $20 cab ride to pick up the first one.
It's kind of difficult because we live on a street that we don't have off-street parking, so we parked at the school and then went to go get our cars this morning, and they were towed.
Their cars were towed by two different towing companies. So not only are they out all that cash, it took most of the morning to straighten everything out. The city says it announced the parking ban would be lifted at 8 p.m. last night on broadcast and social media starting at 3 p.m. and that the lots must be clear so that schools can reopen tomorrow. A spokesperson for the city of Hartford says they actually feel they're being lenient about this because they didn't start towing cars from the school lots until 10 a.m. today, which is a full 14 hours after the parking ban had been lifted. In Hartford, Mark Davis, News 8.
Well, it was back to business in some parts of the state. More National Guardsmen arrived in southeastern Connecticut, one of the hardest hit areas. Stonington is getting help digging out after nearly 2 feet of snow. 10 guardsmen were deployed, another 5 today. News 8's Tina Detel has the latest from Stonington.
Normally, this plow was enough to clear this driveway, but with this snow, extra help was needed here and throughout town. Stonington Borough was buried. Private contractors were brought in to help after the snow piled up faster than Public Works crews could remove it.
It's heavier today than it was yesterday.
Tuesday, this road was impassable, and that kept the Yellow House Coffee and Tea Room closed.
And this morning it was tough getting in because the roads were not plowed and they were very icy.
Stonington Borough takes care of its own snow removal separate from the town. It has a system for residents who park on the streets.
It was on an odd day that the storm hit, and everybody's supposed to park on this side and the next morning move to this side. But everybody got snowed in over here, and as you can see, there's a couple feet of snow on the other side, so nobody could really move their cars.
Governor Daniel Malloy took a tour of the now narrower streets. He'll try to help towns in eastern Connecticut tap into federal funding for this storm.
If we can help people recover some of their expense, we'd love to do that, but we take that seriously. We'll do it. We'll figure out whether we got a shot. We have anything approaching a shot, we'll put them in, I can assure you.
Stonington expects to spend $100,000, half of its snow removal budget.
I guess the top reimbursement, 75%. If that happens, it's awesome. And if something comes back, we're still grateful.
With more snow on the way, more money is going to be spent. Now, the town of Ledyard is preparing for the next cleanup by extending the current on-street parking ban until midnight on Friday. In Stonington, Tina Detel, News 8.
The city of New Haven got spared from the worst of the storm, so recovering from it was relatively quick.
They're canceling the parking ban, so you will now be able to park on the street after midnight this evening. Meteorologist Sam Canto joins us live in New Haven tonight with more on the cleanup. Sam?
And that's one of the big things, and the big thing is that it's been a much shorter length of time for a lot of those huge snow piles to be cleaned up. Now, there still are a bunch of big snow piles. You can see one of these behind me. The town of New Haven said, you know, we're going to start to spend some big bucks to be able to clean it up after what happened in February 2013. A lot of people said it took a very, very long time for that to be cleaned up. Take a look at one of the items that they purchased. The guy that you're seeing right there is a snowblower, but it's not a regular snowblower. 1,500 tons of snow. That's how much can get removed every single hour. So the big mounds that you're seeing around the city are going to be going away. Like Ann said a second ago, the unrestricted parking is going to begin at midnight across the entire city. So you can bring your car back to the location that it initially was before we started to see the snow come through. Also, kids, pay attention to this one. Do your homework. Public schools will be open tomorrow, according to the mayor, and trash and recycling will also be resuming tomorrow as well. Now, two things for you in addition to that. Make sure that you clear the snow from around fire hydrants. If there is a fire, the fire department really will need to get in there. You want to get a 3-foot radius around the fire hydrant when you do that. That's number one. Number two, standing outside in a couple minutes, it feels really cold. Our temperatures are going down very quickly tonight. With the temps that are going down as fast as they are, the treatment that's on the roads may not actually be able to work anymore. So be aware of that, especially early tomorrow morning. I'm meteorologist.
All right, Sam, we lost him there for a little minute there. All right, violent robbery near the Yale campus. That story coming your way next at 6.
Relief for folks in Stratford after a unanimous vote not to change the eminent domain laws. We'll have that.
And Farmington police looking for the woman who used a stolen credit card. You won't believe how much she charged up. Kyla.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very cold night tonight, single digits for inland and our shoreline communities. So be prepared, everybody. We also have a little snow heading our way Thursday night into Friday. I'll detail it all for you when we come back.
You're watching News 8 at 6.
New Haven police are looking for the person who robbed a woman right near the Yale campus. It happened around 4 yesterday afternoon on Mansfield Street. Police say the woman was walking when a man attacked her and took her backpack. She was not injured, but campus police are reminding students to walk in groups. If you have any information, call police. Farmington authorities are looking for the woman who used a stolen credit card to buy $3,000 worth of merchandise at the West Farms Mall. The woman was caught on camera buying a Surface Pro 3 laptop. Call police if you can help in this case.
Despite the blizzard on Monday night, dozens of people still turned out for a public meeting in Stratford about changing the eminent domain laws in town. There was a proposal on the table from the town trying to loosen up the eminent domain laws. A council member submitted an ordinance that would allow the town to take land for economic development. Many who showed up last night left relieved after a unanimous no vote.
Big game is now just 4 days away.
It is closing in. Coming your way next at 6, the Pats and the Seahawks getting ready for battle. Noah has that story all the day sports ahead. But first, here's Kyla.
I am keeping an eye on the cold temperatures tonight and then a little snow in the forecast Thursday night and Sunday night. We're going to talk all about it when we come back. A live look at New Haven, temperatures in the 20s.
As digging out days go, I guess this was a pretty good one.
Digging
blue
out
skies today. Yeah, you could do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really pretty. A reminder that, you know, the planet can be kind sometimes too. We can get sunshine and blue skies. It was kind of nice. And I think, take a live look at New London. Guys, remember it last night? I was showing you that flag over and over again, and it just wouldn't stop, right? The wind was blowing, it's brutally blowing. And remember the street there too, you could not see any of the pavement because they had so much snow and then the drifting that was going on. New London is feeling a little bit better tonight. They've had a chance to dig out today. I'm sure they appreciated the sunshine because boy, that eastern part of the state was just getting pummeled by all of that snow and wind. And right now about 9 miles per hour the wind. So it's still a little windy there, but boy, it's much better than it was last night. Hartford about 7 miles per hour. You can see 13 miles per hour from Windsor Locks down to New Haven. So we do have a little bit of wind rolling through the central part of the state, but we're certainly a bit better. And in New Haven, temperatures about 26 degrees right now. Skies are still very clear as we head into our night. And temperatures all around New Haven County, anywhere in the 20s there. You can see Milford, though. They're really winning the day at 30 degrees. Things got a little bit slushy around New Haven today. We didn't really melt a whole lot, but certainly I think it was a little bit easier for people to start moving that snow around. Temperatures right now in Greenwich, 27 degrees, Meriden 25, Windsor Locks about 25 for you, and 23 Wilmington. So we're a little bit cooler on that eastern side of the state where they're digging out big time. But here's what's helped a lot. Take a look at the radar. It's absolutely clear. We don't even have a cloud in the sky to show you. Nothing, right? And hey, that's kind of nice. There's our former blizzard that has now moved on out, headed north, just heading out of Maine as we speak. But we do have another system that we're tracking, and this is a clipper that's going to start rolling across the Great Lakes and heading our way. So much similar to the pattern that brought the blizzard, but this one doesn't look like it has anywhere near the impact of what we just went through. So this will be a front that tracks across. Of course, you get that nasty weather ahead of the front. So expect that this will get to us about 11 p.m. on Thursday night, and we could get some snow out of this one. Might make your Friday morning commute a little tough. We're not looking at incredible accumulation like we had in this last system, but I'm going to track it forward for you hour by hour, and you can see as it develops. So here's tomorrow, 7 a.m. We still have those beautiful clear skies, but then that system does start to move in as we get into the evening hours, and now it shows up, starts rolling across New York State, heads to us. That's 12:30 a.m. on Friday morning, so early Friday morning. So that's why the roads could be slick. I don't think this one's going to put down, 30 inches of snow. It's going to be more like 1 to 3 inches of snow that we could get with that. Tonight it is going to be incredibly cold. So I've got Burr up there because I'm telling you, we're getting it down into single digits. And look at the inland temperatures, lows 2 degrees. Now, we do have less wind. So winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles per hour. That's going to help immensely. But still, it could be dangerously cold tonight, so just be careful. Now, tomorrow, we will see those clouds start to increase as we get later in the day, but we're going to get up to 30 degrees along the shoreline, so we could get a little melting in there. We're right on the line. And inland, about 29 degrees, and again, the wind not bad. That snow won't come in until probably you're asleep tomorrow night. Around 12:30 a.m., about midnight, we'll see it come in. So that's that system Thursday into Friday. The next one is going to be Sunday night into Monday. So that's Super Bowl Sunday. We think this one will be coming in late as well. Jury's still out on just how much snow we're expecting on this one, so we're going to monitor that for you. But you can see these temperatures incredibly cold. So, as we were talking about a little bit earlier with Justin, if you have any snow to shovel, you really want to get to it because A, there's a little more coming, and B, these temperatures are so cold that everything is going to turn to ice when we get to the overnight hours. So then you've got a big mess to deal with, and the ice, you can't really get it up until the temperatures go up over freezing.
And C, find a teenager to do it for you.
Or find a nice young man to help you out.
There you go. All right, Kyle.
And make sure to dig out your mailboxes or you're not getting the mail. All right, Noah, what's up coming up in sports?
I don't know if you knew this, but we're closing in on the big game, the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's this Sunday. And, of course, one of the features of the game, the commercials. They're charging $4.5 million to air each spot. That's just to air them. We've posted a couple of the spots. Some of them are pretty funny over on SportsEdge.com. Meanwhile, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady said all the right things at his morning news conference, but he said it through a bit of a stuffed nose. Hardly the time for the starting quarterback to be under the weather.
Yeah, I've had it for 4 or 5 days. My kids got sick, and then my wife's pretty sick right now, so I brought it, unfortunately, to Phoenix, but I'll be fine. I'll be good.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Former Yale running back Tyler Varga has really opened some eyes around the NFL. After a big game at last weekend's Senior Bowl, today Varga has been invited to next month's NFL Combine. The Combine is where most of the top college players in the country go to be tested by NFL personnel prior to the May draft. Varga is just the second Bulldog to get an invite to the Combine. Quarterback Patrick Witt was invited 3 years ago, but he had 2 touchdowns in the Senior Bowl. Like I said, opening some eyes. The Connecticut Sun make a big trade today, and it involves a former UConn player, Renee Montgomery. She's being sent to Seattle along with 2 draft picks, number 3 and 15. In return, the Sun get Camille Little and Shekinna Strickland. Montgomery came off the bench for the Sun last year. Montgomery's former team, the college team she played, right, the Huskies from UConn. Like, I really have to qualify that, right? I got to say the Huskies from UConn. Like they'd be any other Huskies, right? They're in action tonight. Huskies playing East Carolina in Hartford. They've won 17 games in a row. Haven't lost a game in conference play. I don't figure that'll be the case tonight, that they'll lose one tonight. We'll have highlights from the game and reaction from the players coming up on Sports Edge tonight.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you. We'll be back. Final check of Kyle's forecast after this.